Hi everyone, this is going to be a relatively short video. In this video, I just want to go over the concept of elasticity. Elasticity is the sensitivity of quantity given price changes. The definition of elasticity is the percent change in quantity divided by percent change in price. If we change the price by 1%, how much is the quantity going to change? That's the definition. There is a demand side elasticity, like the sensitivity of consumers to price changes versus supply side of elasticity, the sensitivity of producers changing to price changes, basically. When we measure elasticity, there are two broad definitions. One is the demand or supply is elastic versus inelastic. Mathematically, being elastic means the formula we just saw, the percent change in quantity divided by percent change in price is greater than 1. So that means for elastic good, the percent change in price has proportionally have a large impact on the behavior of consumers or producers. On the other side, inelastic means, well, from mathematical perspective, the formula change in quantity divided by percent change in price is less than 1. What that means in reality is the change in price has little impact on the amount produced or consumed. Now, what is driving elasticity is the question. What makes certain products elastic, sensitive to price changes? What makes it inelastic, what makes products insensitive to price changes? The availability of substitutes, the more chance there are for a substitute product, the higher the elasticity of demand. For example, we can easily buy a different breakfast cereal if the price is higher, so we can switch to another brand almost instantly. Whereas some services, especially for example, if you're a dentist and if you have been with that dentist for years, he or she will have your files and everything. It will be relatively harder. It's not impossible, but harder compared to cereal to change to find another dentist. The portion of the budget spent on the product, the larger the percentage of consumer's budget, the higher the elasticity. This should be relatively straightforward in the sense that if you buy a new home, one difference of money is a lot of money, and that's a large portion of the budget, and we tend to be very careful with those purchases, as opposed to if you are buying a cup of coffee, 1% of price change, as an example, $2 to $2.02 will not make too much of a difference. There is also a concept called point elasticity. It's a straight line. As you see, the demand is straight line, and at every point you are going to see that the elasticity drops as we move forward towards right and lower right on the curve. The intuitive reasoning behind that is your desire to buy the first cup of coffee in the morning is probably not dependent on the price, but if you have the fourth cup, then you'll be a lot more price sensitive. And it's true for other products as well. As you have more of that product, your elasticity will increase. Companies want practically inelastic demand and elastic supply. Inelastic demand is companies want to be able to raise prices without driving away customers. Warren Buffett is a good use case here. He uses that strategy in his investments. He owns Coca-Cola and See's Candy because there is a brand loyalty. Brand loyalty drives inelastic demand. So if Coca-Cola increases prices, obviously not a whole lot, but some, there will still people be buying Coca-Cola. Elastic supply, on the other hand, companies want to be able to make more of the unit at very low unit cost and sell it for the full price. Obviously, this hinges on the capacity. If there is a capacity for 1 million, and if you are currently making 900,000 of a specific product, then it's easier to make the next product, and that stops at 1 million. After that, if you want to produce 1 million first product, that will be very inelastic. You need to build capacity, etc. So that's a caveat right there for capacity. There is long-term elasticity and short-term elasticity. Over the long-term, supply and demand both are more elastic compared to short-term. If the gas prices go up, you can't just go and buy a new fuel-efficient car or electric car. You just are likely to tolerate the higher price in the short term, and if the gas prices stay high enough, next time you buy a car, you will be more likely to buy a fuel-efficient car. The same is for supply. If the company makes 1 million units and the demand rises, then in the short term, at that million, the elasticity for supply is inelastic. But over the long term, if the demand stays there, then the company will buy more machinery, etc. So they can meet the demand. So their production will become more and more elastic. Elasticity has a power tool. It's basically the cost of carrying an activity. It's not related to just economics. I'm going to give you some interesting example. Hopefully you can keep the concept in mind. Outside of economics, the police wants to stop crime. They can raise the price of crime by catching criminals and throwing them into jail. The goal is not to punish the crime, but prevent it by convincing people that it's too expensive staying in jail, that is. Each crime has its own price elasticity function. A teenage shoplifter is very elastic. Threaten that person with jail time, she or he will probably stop in a hurry. So that's, very elastic. A drug addict is very inelastic. That doesn't change with the price or the cost, quote unquote. Going to jail probably for that person is not as important compared to the cost of getting the drug. So again, elasticity has implications beyond economics, but in economics, it's the sensitivity to price. There are other elasticity pieces. There is one called income elasticity. Income elasticity of demand is the measure of how strong the quantity of demand responds to customers' income. So it's defined as the percent change in quantity demanded divided by percent change in income. We talked about this in the earlier video in week 2. For normal goods specifically, as income increases, the demand will increase. Remember, the demand curve shifts right. So the percent change defines the elasticity for income. And then we also talked about normal goods versus inferior goods. Normal goods are the ones that increase with the increasing income. Inferior goods, on the other hand, decrease with increasing income because people switch from inferior goods to normal goods when income increases. So that's going to be the key takeaway here. So there is not only price elasticity, I call it sensitivity too. but also income elasticity or sensitivity to income. There is also something called cross-price elasticity of demand. This is a measure of how strongly the quantity demanded changes when the price of a related product changes. It's basically, the definition is percent change of quantity demanded divided by percent change in price of a related good, right? So there are complementary goods and substitute goods. If two products are complementary, customers buy more when the other is selling more. Cross price elasticity of these goods is negative, meaning if the price of, for example, in the earlier example I gave you, if the price of printers go up, then the demand for ink cartridges will go down. So that's why it's a negative correlation. And then there is substitute goods, two products that are produced in each other places. So if, for example, the price of beef goes up, then the quantity demanded for chicken will go up, and the difference between the two, the change in demand for chicken divided by the change in price for beef, is called the price elasticity of demand, cross price elasticity for demand. Hopefully these make sense. Again, I want to do these short videos to make sure that you have alternative ways to get the information, and in addition to text and presentations, video will be another way. And I'll see you in week 4. Thank you.